We've been working on the monologues, which we've adapted from our interviews with multiple asylum seekers residing in Sicily. Many of them have traveled through Libya, um, and they come from home countries within Africa, sub-Saharan Africa particularly. And yeah, their stories are quite amazing. Their stories of resilience and determination, and they're really inspiring, and they tell us a lot about the mindset of what it takes to leave home, um, especially when home is dangerous. And yeah, it's given us a lot to reflect on. And I think a lot, like, we all feel extremely privileged to be in a place that people are trying to get to. You know, we're interviewing people at the Mediterranean border or who have crossed the Mediterranean Sea, but there are people right in our backyard trying to cross the US-Mexico border and come to America. So this issue of migration is really relevant to our lives. It's happening right where we are. Um, I think particularly for me, I've been involved with immigration in San Antonio for a long time. I went to a demonstration last week in front of a hotel where ICE was keeping a mother and a child in a hotel illegally away from their lawyers. And yeah, I mean, it's just this connection between our work that we're doing, and then what's happening in San Antonio where ICE is, tearing families apart. It's really heartbreaking, but people everywhere, their stories are connected way more than we think. So, yeah.
It's really powerful for us just to get just an understanding, and for everybody to get an understanding of what it takes to push someone to leave their country. In the case of everyone that we've interviewed, it's never what you expect. Their reason for leaving, because everybody's story is their own, and that's something that I have taken away a lot from this interview process is just, I think a lot of people, when they think of asylum seekers, refugees, migrants, whomever, that they're thinking of this one stereotype that they have in their mind. But what our work is trying to do is tell their individual stories and help people understand that these are individual people with goals and dreams and hopes, and that they have made a dangerous decision to flee their countries and cross the Sahara, go through Libya, cross the Mediterranean. Every step along the way is dangerous for them. And so it's been really powerful to get to help capture their stories and then know that we're a part of a group of people that are telling their stories. In particular, I got to interview a man named Kaba, and he is from Sierra Leone. And his journey kind of started when the Ebola virus broke out in his country. He started as a volunteer, and one thing led to another, and he ended up being persecuted by the same people he was trying to help. And so he had to flee, and he made it to Catania, and now he's a civil rights activist. He's a leader in his community there. And so getting to hear his story has been wonderful. And then something that we're doing is we're taking those stories and turning them into monologues, using quotes from the interviews that we've had to construct monologues that capture, instead of in 10,000 words and just, 1,500, that we can add to our play with direct quotes from their interviews. And so that's been really fun doing that. And I'm really excited to see what comes of these monologues and the play that we're constructing and working on so hard together.
I think one of the most exciting things to me about working with these monologues and these interviews, and I think Rachel and Bradley touched on this, but it's really brought a new perspective to some of our other work that we're doing. We're all reporting on regions that have tons of migrants and refugees and asylum seekers and people who are displaced. And to read about that in news articles and to write about it at a policy level is very important. And I think we're all excited and grateful to be able to be doing that. But it's a little bit more clinical. And so to get to hear these individual stories, and then not only that, but to be part of telling those stories to people, in our own community, just feels really exciting. And it's great to have both levels of involvement in these types of stories and in global issues, to feel like we have this personal connection, but also we are looking at things on a much larger scale. So I'm really enjoying those two things coming together, which I think has really happened this week, and it's exciting as we move forward these last few weeks.